to me, O Arjuna, I can thus be known, truly seen and entered into, O oppressor of the foe. Shri Krishna addresses Arjuna as Parantapa. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya defines Parantapa as one who has performed the greatest of all austerities. Paran means greatest and Tap means austerity. Therefore, one who has performed the greatest of all austerities is Parantapa. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that there is only one way to attain him. This is not the Vedas, not yagnas, not donations, not activities, and not austerities. But there is only one way to attain God. This is Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion. By unswerving devotion to the Supreme Soul can be known, truly seen, and entered into. Shri Krishna uses the word Tatvena. The word Tatvena in reality has to be taken 3 times when we look at it in this meaning. Tatvena Gnatum, I can be known through this. Tatvena Drashtum, I can be truly seen through this. And Tatvena Praveshtum, I can be entered into through this. 3 things are very important in this verse in relation to the Supreme Soul. Gnatum, Drashtum, Praveshtum. Gnatum meaning knowing, Drashtum meaning seeing, and Praveshtum, entering into. The word Tatvena is used showing that the Supreme Soul himself, as an element rather than the name of the Supreme Soul, will be known, seen, and entered into. This is how it is possible to attain the Supreme Soul. What is Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion? This is because in the 12th chapter, God is going to explain Bhakti, devotion, because the name of the 12th chapter of the Gita is Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. But we will discuss a little about Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion. We have so many limitations as the individual soul, because of which we cannot attain the Supreme Soul in totality, and we cannot serve the Supreme Soul. In these circumstances, when we reach the great by seeing the Supreme Soul in totality, in whatever form of the Lord we are serving, and do not respect and taunt other forms of God, then this is Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion. I'll explain this in bits now. We have a limit that just like Arjuna had the vision of the Vishwarup, the universal form in its totality, in the same way, we possibly may not be able to do it now, and this is accepted. Then in whichever Ishtadev, personal form of God, we adore the Supreme Soul, we learn to see the Supreme Soul in his totality through that form. This is the first step in Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion. But at the same time, while doing this, we should not even by mistake think that the form of God that I'm meditating on is the only one true God and everything else is wrong. This is because a lot of people consider Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion, to mean this. When one disrespects or has contempt from other forms of God, then the unswervingness of the devotion takes a hit, and the unswervingness of the devotion becomes partitioned. This is because just like any form of God is dear to me, in the same way other people's forms of God are dear to them. The Supreme Soul is one. Ekam Satya Tad Vipra Bahuda Davanti. God, the truth is one, God is one, but it can be described in many different ways. Sarva Deva Namaskaram, Keshava Akasta Paritram, Toyam Yata Gachiti Sagaram, Sarva Deva Namaskaram, Keshavam Prati Gachiti. We bow down to all the gods because they all lead us to the supreme energy. Just like all the rain that falls from the sky ultimately goes to the ocean, in the same way, all the forms of God that we're bowing down to, ultimately we're bowing down to Keshav, Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Whatever form of God we're bowing down to, and whichever form of God we're adoring, performing penances for, ultimately they are penances for the Supreme Soul. But we should never make that mistake that the form of God I am bowing down to is great and complete, and everything else is wrong. If we have this attitude, then this is not unswervingness. Saints give a very nice example that a pupil is serving his guru. The body of the guru is 5.5 feet tall. The pupil cannot serve the whole 5.5 feet of the guru's body all at the same time. Whenever service is happening, then it always happens in parts. It has to be done in parts. The very fact that you are doing service means that it is in parts. And they are very sweet parts. When a pupil is rubbing his guru's feet and serving his guru's feet, then if you look at it one way, then service of those feet is service of a part and not of the whole 5.5 foot body of the guru. Out of the whole body of the guru, the pupil is serving only one right foot of the guru and is rubbing it. But while rubbing the foot, the pupil knows that no matter if I'm rubbing only this one foot, the service is happening to the whole of the guru. This is because the peace and bliss that the guru will get, and whatever tiredness is that will go away, is happening to the whole guru and the whole body of the guru. And that is why one pupil is serving the right foot of the Guru, the pupil does not oppose the left foot. And when the pupil is serving the left foot, the pupil is not opposing the right hand. Once there were two pupils who divided themselves between the Guru's feet. One pupil said that he would serve the right foot of the Guru, and the second pupil said that he would serve the left foot of the Guru. When they're both rubbing the feet of the Guru, and the Guru turned sideways, then the right foot came on top of the left foot, and a person who was serving the left foot said, "Oh, put your foot away. I'm being disturbed because I am of the left foot. Take your right foot away from my left foot." The people of the right foot said, "I will see to you." The Guru turned sides again after half an hour, and then the people of the right foot said, "Oh, take your foot away." And when these two people began pulling the right and left feet, then who got the pain because of this? The Guru got the feeling of pain because of this. People in this world cannot understand such a small thing. Then what can you do about it? One is sitting there holding the right foot and saying that they are doing a lot of unswerving service. This will not work. It is right that you are serving the right foot, but you should be so careful that you are serving the whole body. You cannot oppose the left foot. If one pupil is serving the right foot and a fly comes and sits on the head, then the pupil has to look after the head a lot. If the fly is sitting on the head and the pupil of the right foot picks up the stick and hits the head with it, then what will happen to the Guru? This is what we are seeing in society today. So-called Ananya Bhakti's unswerving devotion is, I just looked after myself and going to hit other people with sticks. There is this thing wrong with this person, this thing wrong with that person. Oh brother, people are going to saying the same wrong things about you. We should have Ananya Bhakti, unswerving devotion, where we are serving the Khand, the part, but our vision is on the Akhand, the whole. If this is the case, then this is a true feeling on unswervingness. And I'll repeat myself again and again that one has to serve the Khand, the part. While one has not had the vision of the Akhand, the whole, then until then one should serve only the Khand, the part. But while serving the Khand, the part, one should not fall short of the vision of the Akhand, the whole. And Shri Krishna says here that when this comes, where there is not only bhakti devotion, but ananya bhakti, unswerving devotion, then the vision of the Supreme Soul is possible. And Shri Krishna has not only said a vision of the Supreme Soul, but three things. Gnatum, knowing, drashtum, seeing, and praveshtum, entering into. One can firstly know the Lord, one can know the Lord in the way that the Lord really is, and not the way that the Lord is in our minds. There are two ways of knowing the Lord. The first is that we project ourselves on others. One is not to know God in this way. It was inside you and you took it out. You have to know God in the way that God really is. This is gnatum, knowing. Second is drashtum, seeing, the sagun sakar swarup, the form of God with qualities. One can have a vision of the Supreme Soul. And the third is praveshtum, entering into. One can enter into the Supreme Soul. And one can praveshtum, entering into, means seeing your own self as the same as the Supreme Soul. This is actually that God, you and I are not different. The rishis of the Tetra Upanishad says, Anandam Brahmano Vidvan na bibati krutaschana. I have vision of the bliss of Brahman, so how can I fear the Supreme Soul? Also, I am Atma Brahma. I, the Soul, and Brahman are the same. This is praveshtrum, entering into. It is a very sweet word where one enters into the Nitya Leela, the eternal game of the Supreme Soul, and the individual soul becomes one form of the Supreme Soul in an eternal game. This is what praveshtrum, entering into, is. And when does this happen? When the devotee's wishes become amalgamated into the wishes of the Supreme Soul, then the state of praveshtum, entering into, comes. While the devotee had his own independent wishes and the devotee has different wishes, then during that time the state of praveshtum, entering into, cannot come. The devotee says, now I have no wishes of my own, Lord. Whatever your wishes are, those are also my wishes. Next verse.